it's the news we all expected was coming at this time of the year, and we all anticipated it, and we all had a feeling that it was going to be, coming very shortly. But I think it was the news that once it did hit, we weren't quite ready for it at the same time. As funny as that sounds, I think, like I said, we knew it was coming, but when it did come, we didn't want it to happen, and it's tough. This one hit home. You know, despite where he's at in his career now, and I think it is the right move for him to step down and step aside for some younger players to come through in the side. It's Trent Cotchin is everything to this football club and everything to what this football club means to me. I remember when he got drafted. He's one of those. He's a part of that generation of player now where I'm old enough to remember them getting drafted and the excitement I felt about, this young kid looks like he'll be all right. And then to watch him go his whole career and pave the path that he did, it's outstanding. I mean, I was going to sit here and read some stats off and say, how impressive is this? I mean, the one that's going around, 3-time Jack Dalla medalist, Brownlow medalist, All-Australian, 3-time premiership captain, 305 games, 140 odd goals. The stats speak for themselves. We know that he's a star, but I think it's the selflessness and the leadership that he showed that makes him, that makes us love him the way that we do. His trademark hunt for the football, the way he would somehow always be lower than all of his opponents when picking up the footy off the ground, and he would put his body on the line. He's honestly a crash and bash player, and that's probably the reason why his body probably did start to let him down towards the end, and why he might have slowed down a few steps. If he had continued the way he was going 2012 and prior to that, he'd probably still be in pretty good nick at the moment. But the way he changed his game and selflessly played for the benefit of the team, it probably shortened his career. Not that he's had a bad one. He's still played 300 games. He's 33 or so he's had a pretty good run at AFL level. But you see midfielders that are still going, and I mean, this isn't a knock on Scott Pendlebury, for example, but Scott Pendlebury has never been your crash and bash type of player. He's your silky. He finds his way out of traffic quite well, and that's probably why someone like him is still going at such a high level, because he hasn't had his body going through what someone like Cotchin did. And that's not me having a shot at Pendlebury. They're just two different players, but it was just an example of someone at that higher age that's still going all right compared to someone like Koch, who you can tell has slowed down, if we're being brutally honest, as much as that pains me to say. But look, Koch, we won 3 flags. Him as our premiership captain. Wouldn't have had it any other way. He brought us to our first final series, and I think in 2013 it was the first time we'd been to the finals in, who knows how long, 10 years, if not more. We won our first final in Geelong in that final in 2017 for the first time since 2001. I think it was the first final we won since 2001. So that's a massive drought-breaking game. And he kicks that famous goal against the Cats in the last quarter. The spin, the pick-up, the kick on the opposite kick on the opposite foot. BT going, that's the goal of the game. It was that was special. And then I think just seeing him hold up that cup in 17 was one of the most incredible feelings. And obviously, because of the fact that Richmond had finally won a flag and we were successful as a club, but I don't know, there was something about Koch doing it and from where he brought us to. I mean, you look at captains over the years, and a lot of people talk about Joel Selwood being one of the great captains of all time, and he was one of the great captains of all time. But you look at someone like Selwood, who took over a club he came into a club that was successful, and he left a club that was successful. I think he had one season, maybe 2, where they didn't play finals in his whole career. Or you look at someone like Koch, who came in, we were bottom of the barrel, and he dragged us from the bottom of the heap all the way to the top. In 2018, he was captain of the year. We arguably should have won four flags in a row with that 2018 season being a part of it, but obviously we know how that ended. But again, he was outstanding. His final series in 2019, 2017, Dusty is probably the only one that had a more consistent over the two. His tackle on Shane Mumford, 2019 grand final, buried him into the ground, got stuck into him after the comments Mumford had made during the week. It was it was special. It really was. There's so many memories and moments I can sit here and list off. And, I've got articles open up everywhere just to make sure I don't miss anything. But there's so much I could say about Koch. And I feel like no matter what I say, I'm not doing him any justice, which is a shame. Like, I don't think anybody can really do him justice. You're going to see articles and videos and people showing highlights and people, people writing stats and all this sort of stuff and videos and whatnot. But I still don't think it encapsulates what Cochin meant to the club. He was that first player that really stepped up and decided, nah, I'm going to be vulnerable in front of the group and, open up that laneway for the rest of the group to do so. And, if it wasn't for that and if it wasn't for him changing his game style, like I mentioned earlier, he could go out there and have your 30, 35 touches, no problem, and, and dominate the stat sheet. But he realised that wasn't what Richmond needed to win games of football. And he completely turned around the way he played footy. And, well, look how it worked out. It's outstanding. So, yeah, I feel like I'm not doing him justice, like I've said multiple times now. I can't put into words what Cochin meant. This one did hurt when I heard the news. Like I said, we knew it was coming. We knew. But just the way we heard it, and I think it didn't resonate with me the way that I thought it might have. That's all right. That's part of footy. It's part of footy. It's emotional, and it just shows how much he meant to us, and how much he meant to me personally. But as a club, he just meant so much. And he always will. Like he'll go down. Everyone talks about Captain Blood, Jack Dyer being, Richmond's greatest ever leader and that icon that we look up to. And obviously it was well before my time and probably well before my dad's time. So, that's how far we're going back when talking about Captain Blood. But Cochin's right there. He's right there. He's in that mix. Sorry to some of the old timers that might say differently, but I'm sorry. Koch will forever be a Richmond icon. The number 9. Everything about him. It's I got him up on the wall there. His signature. It's I'm gonna miss Koch a lot. Look, he's not playing this week against the Saints. I hope he does get out there. I want him to play before he wraps it up, whether it's against North or whether he goes to Adelaide. Knowing Koch, he's less for the spectacle, and I think he just wants to play games of footy. So I can see him going to Adelaide and wrapping up at Adelaide Oval over there against Port, and it would be the selfless thing to do as well. If he's right to go, of course, because he's obviously a little bit damaged and beaten up for this game. He hasn't quite gotten up, so look, it'll be interesting. I think either way, if it's in Adelaide, I'm going to try and make the trip over and farewell him the way he deserves, because he's been an absolute star for us and deserves nothing less. So I'll wrap it up there. I could go on for days and days and days. I feel like this has been a pretty dull episode just because of how flat I've been. But it's the news was hard to come. Sorry, not hard to come by. It was very easy to come by. It was posted absolutely everywhere, but it was hard to sink in. I think hard to take. Just to lose such an icon of this football club and to see him go. And some of the stuff I've got up on screen here, I've got him back in 2007, like a young, fresh-faced Koch, and we know how much his family means to the team as well. His 3 kids, and love getting around the boys, and the boys love having the kids around, and the relationship Dimmer and Koch had together, and the way that what they did to this club. And then when Dimmer left this year, it was obviously it hurt, and it was sad, and because where he took us and where he brought us and all that good stuff. But I don't know, this one's way worse. I think just because, I guess he was out there. He was the one putting his body on the line, Trent. That's the one that was kicking the goals, the one that was setting the goals up. How many times did Koch kick it to Jack Riewoldt in the forward line and Jack would turn around and bang it through? So we're going to miss that. I know a lot of people are talking about Jack. I hope Jack goes on one more year. I don't know how I would handle 2 massive retirements like this in the same season. It'll ruin me. But it's not about me, obviously. So we'll, like I said, we'll wrap it up there. It's pretty much all I've got for this one. I will be bringing out the St Kilda preview very soon. It's late, but better late than never, I always say. So thank you again very much for watching. Always appreciate your support and your love. Let's send some towards Koch. He's earned it. He's been an absolute star, and we'll miss him. So I know he won't be watching, but thank you, Trent. You changed my life in a way I didn't think would be possible. And not in the sense that Richard won the flag. I mean, obviously, yes, in that way, I never thought that would be possible either. But I think just your nature, your selflessness, and what you were willing to do to put others in the team in front of you, I think has really inspired not just me, but kids and adults and people all over Australia and, Melbourne in particular. So thank you, Trent, again for a wonderful career. We're going to miss you, and I hope to send you out in style. So thank you, mate.